الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونؤمن به ونتوكل عليه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له ونشهد أن سيدنا ونبينا ومولانا محمدا عبده ورسوله أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل أعوذ برب الفلق من شر ما خلق ومن شر غاسق إذا وقب ومن شر النفاثات في العقد ومن شر حاسد إذا حسد صدق الله العظيم وصدق رسوله النبي الكريم ونحن على ذلك لمن الشاهدين والشاكرين والحمد لله رب العالمين رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي رب زدني علما اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد وبارك وسلم اللهم صل على محمد عبدك ورسولك وصل على المؤمنين والمؤمنات والمسلمين والمسلمات ربنا ظلمنا أنفسنا وإن لم تغفر لنا وترحمنا لنكونن من الخاسرين اللهم اغفر لنا ذنوبنا كله دقه وجله وأوله وآخره وعلانيته وسره Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. In the name of Allah, the All Merciful, the Very Merciful. قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ الْفَلَقِ. Say, I seek refuge with the Lord of the daybreak. مِنْ شَرِّ مَا خَلَقَ. From the evil of everything He created. وَمِنْ شَرِّ غَاسِقٍ إِذَا وَقَبَ. And from the evil of the dark night when it penetrates. وَمِنْ شَرِّ النَّفَّاثَاتِ فِي الْعُقَدِ. And from the evil of the women who blow on the knots. وَمِنْ شَرِّ حَاسِدٍ إِذَا حَسَدٍ. And from the evil of an envier when he envies. This is the translation of one of the shortest and common surah, Surah Al-Falaq, the second to last surah in the Quran, 113th surah in the Quran. It has 5 verses and either 23 or 26 words. We take wow as a separate, 26, otherwise there's 23 words in this surah and around 71 letters. And it is the surah, some say Makki surah, some people say Madani surah, and they have their own reasonings and understanding why this surah is either Madani or Makki. General view is Makki surah. Now the introduction of this surah is, we live in this world. And this world that we are living in is the world of means. Whilst we live in this world, there's 2 things that we face. We face either khair, goodness, or we face shar, calamity and evil. Generally, khair, goodness, brings happiness to a person, brings peace to the heart. And at the time of shar, there is difficulty, hardship. This shar and khair is a creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They all come from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The shar in this world can be categorized and put into 2 separate groups. One type of shar that exists, one type of evil that exists could be a physical shar, physical evil, calamity. And we have one other group, one other category is non-physical, non-invisible, something that does not have a form, but it exists. The first type of shar and the first type of evil, for us to gain safety from, for us to gain security from, we use the means available. For example, to save yourself from robbery, to save yourself from harm, we have different means of security. We have the cameras, we may have the electric gates, or we may have guards in place, and other ways are possible. There's other, advanced technology. So for physical calamity, physical evil, we have these means available. And for non-physical calamity, for the non-physical evil, we also have some means available. However, those are also non-visible. We can't exactly see them. We can't exactly feel them. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has, in this means of world, provided us with both types of safety and security. So the first type, we use whatever is available for us. Locks on our door, codes on our phones and codes for our banks, etc. So these are all means of security from evil, from shar. From the evil and the shar which is non-physical, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us these two surahs. There are many other things as well. There are many other ayat and du'as. Out of them, these two surahs, the last two surahs and for the end of the Quran, will protect us from those evil and that calamity and the shar which is non-visible, invisible, non-physical. That we can't exactly see the calamity and we can't exactly see the shar, but it exists. So through this Suratul Falaq and Suratul Nas, in one way they are combined and they come together, but they've come as a separate surah. So these two surahs, inshallah, will provide for us security and safety from the shar that exists that we cannot see. And what is that shar and shar and the evil and calamity that we cannot see? One of them is evil eye, ayn, as we call it in Arabic, and nazar, we call it in Urdu. And we also have magic. So for protection from such, these two surahs are very powerful and very effective. So this is just the introduction to this Surah Al-Falaq, and also Surah Al-Nas included in there. Now the background of this revelation of Surah Al-Falaq, if we study the Seerah, we will realize that the Ahl Kitab, the people of the book, especially the Jews, they knew and they were told from the Kitab that they had in front of the coming of the final and the last prophet. So the Jews thought that if they were to go back in history, they all link back to Hazrat Yaqub alayhi salatu wasalam, which was known as Israel also. So the Banu Israel, the children of Yaqub alayhi salatu wasalam, the prophets came from Yaqub alayhi salatu wasalam. So they thought this last final prophet that's coming will also be part of our family. However, when Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam announced prophethood, and he comes from Hazrat Ismail alayhi salatu wasalam. So they were jealous that, we can't accept this. We can't accept this. He's supposed to be from Hazrat Yaqub alayhi salatu wasalam. Why has he come from Hazrat Ismail alayhi salatu wasalam? So because of this jealousy, there's a narration of Hazrat Aisha radiallahu anha, where she narrates the background of this surah, where Labid ibn Asam, a Jew, using his daughters and few other individuals, cast and spell and did magic against Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Hazrat Aisha radiallahu anha narrates that once Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he had a dream near the end of the background of this narration of this surah, Shani Nuzul, and the purpose of this the revelation of this surah. So Hazrat Aisha radiallahu anha says that when the magic was done on Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, this lasted for around 6 months. And the effect of this magic on Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam was only in regard to the worldly aspect. So sometimes he would think that he has visited his wife, he's had a relationship with his wife, whereas he hasn't been to the wife, he hasn't had any relation. So it would confuse him only in the matters of the dunya only, in the worldly aspect only. But regarding his duties as a Nabi, as a prophet, the magic did not have any effect on him. So he still carried out the tasks and the duties as a prophet. So this effect on Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam was one of the most strong and highest level of effect of magic that you can have, it can exist. So Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, once he saw a dream. So the Aisha radiallahu anha says that Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, especially in the end of these 6 months, would make dua constantly and abundantly to be cured from this illness and from this magic. So the Aisha radiallahu anha said that once Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam woke up and he narrated the dream, and in the dream, the Jibreel alayhi salatu wasalam, the Mikael alayhi salatu wasalam, they came to Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and as though that Prophet ﷺ was lying down, and the Jibreel ﷺ sat near the head, Mikael ﷺ sat near the feet side, the feet side, and there was a discussion between them that what has happened to this person lying down, and Mikael ﷺ replied that magic has been done on him. Who has done the magic? How has it been done? So all that discussion took place. So Labid ibn Asam, what he did was, there was a Jew, young person, who used to come into the gathering of the Prophet ﷺ. So he persuaded the Prophet ﷺ to get the blessed hair of Nabi ﷺ. So he managed to get the comb of the Prophet ﷺ and either the few teeth of the comb and hairs of the Prophet ﷺ, and he gave it to Labid ibn Asam. So Labid ibn Asam, using a bark of a khajur date, a khajur date, he using the hair and the bark, he casted a spell on Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and there was 11 knots he tied. So either himself or his daughters that he used to do the magic on Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So in this dream, the discussion is taking place. So the answer is given to him that this is what has been done on Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Now this bark of khajur tree was put at the bottom of the well under a rock. Prophet ﷺ is shown in the dream where this well is and where the comb or whatever this bark was, where it is. When he woke up, he narrated the dream that Aisha radiallahu anha, then Ammar bin Yasir radiallahu anhu, that Ali radiallahu anhu, and few other Sahabi with the Prophet ﷺ. In one narration, they themselves went to this well and took out this bark that the magic was done upon. And Prophet ﷺ, Surah Al-Falaq and Surah Al-Nas together have 11 verses, 11 ayat. In one narration, Prophet ﷺ himself did, or in another narration, the Sahaba who went, they recited these verses whilst untying these 11 knots. So once the 11 verses were finished and all the 11 knots were untied and opened up, Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he says that it's as though I was released. All that time I was feeling that I was shackled in something, I was tied up in something. When these surahs were verses of the Surah Al-Falaq and Surah Al-Nas were recited, as though I was released from this chain. So this is the background of this surah. Now there are so many lessons to take from just this surah as well. One of the things that we learn is, which inshallah everybody will know, maybe people will come across this, or yourself or somebody else that you will know, that they complain of having this effect of magic on them. They say, okay, so it seems like somebody has done jadoo on me, somebody has done some spell on me. Now, from this incident we learn, one of the most effective amal that the Shaykh rahmatullahi alayhi also highlighted is to make dua in abundance. Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was making dua, especially in the end of these 6 months, abundantly. In the hadith, da'a wa da'a, da'a, the word da'a is used 3 times. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam made so much dua. So dua is very effective if you want to be released and if you want to be cured from this illness. One other lesson that we learn is that a prophet being affected by magic is not against his status. It's not against a status of being a prophet. They only are affected, or they only see the harm of it in the worldly aspect only. There is no harm in them in the spirituality or in the tasks of being a prophet and completing the tasks of a prophet. And we also see this in the story of Musa alayhi salatu wasalam as well, when he, in the Maidan and in the field, when the magicians threw their asa, threw their sticks or whatever they had, that also affected Musa alayhi salatu wasalam, seeing this magic. But however, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, La takhaf, innaka anta al-a'la, that do not fear. So having this fear of being affected by evil, being affected by magic, only happens in the worldly aspect, not in the tasks of the duties of being a prophet. So that's another thing. Another thing that we learn from this is magic is true, ayn is true, evil cast is also true. So we need to seek protection from this. Going into the surah itself, قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِسْمِ اللَّهِ الرَّحْمَنِ الرَّحِيمِ قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ الْفَلَقِ. In the beginning, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam and is teaching the ummah that أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ الْفَلَقِ. Seek refuge and protection. The word أَعُوذُ is the word isti'adha, to seek refuge and to seek protection. This itself is also an ibadat. To seek protection, to seek refuge, And isti'adha is also an ibadat for us. However, we only seek protection using the names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala or using the attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And in the hadith and in the Quran, we'll come across many du'as which have the du'a of isti'adha and du'a of protection, and they are very effective. We should also learn this du'a. One of the common du'a that we come across is the du'a of before entering the bathroom. Allahumma inni a'udhu bika min al-khubuthi wal-khaba'ith. We learn this as a child. We also should also practice this, because the bathroom is a place where evil, the shayateen and the evil are there. If you don't seek protection from those who are present in there, then they will also have effect on your thoughts and waswasa and on yourself. And bathrooms are present in every home nowadays. In the time of the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the bathroom used to be allocated in certain areas only. So the evil was only in certain areas. But now the bathrooms are in our own homes, and some homes have 3-4 bathrooms. So you can understand how much evil are just within our homes. Within our homes, so we need to ensure that when we enter the bathroom, we recite isti'adha and we recite the dua for protection. So قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ الْفَلَقِ. The word Rabb, again, it refers to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and it means that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Rabb is the one who nourishes something at stages, slowly. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one who has created us, and when He creates a human being, it takes 9 months. If He wants, He can create somebody just like that. But naturally, the generally in the system now is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala creates the human being, but He does it gradually. It takes 9 months to, for the child to be born. After the child is born, after Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala creates something, He also nourishes and sustains that child. So it's not such that He has created something and that's it, the duty is over. No. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also continues to sustain the creation as well. He continues to look after. So the word Rabb is referring to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now, قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ الْفَلَقِ. The word al-falaq can mean and can refer to the dawn, the morning time. بِرَبِّ الْفَلَقِ. And the Rabb, Falaq, is also used in the different part of the Quran where al-Faliq, إِنَّ اللَّهَ فَالِقُ الْحَبِّ وَالنَّوَىٰ, and also Faliq al-Isbah, which means something that splits open something that divides something. Now when we have the night, it's complete darkness. But when the dawn and the day begin, the daylight splits the darkness, splits the night away. So this is why it's referring to the morning time. Now why is in this surah the Rabbil Falaq? Why not like something else? We could have used Rabbil Jabarut, or any other word could have been used with Al-Falaq here, with the word Al-Rabiyah. But why word Al-Falaq? One of the answers is given is because the theme of this surah is related to magic. Magic, generally those who perform magic do it in the darkness of the nights. So this surah was there to cure Prophet ﷺ, was to take him out of this darkness. So to indicate towards this that there is some hope now, there's some light after this, and there's some positive energy and positive message after this surah, and after being cured from this surah. So قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ الْفَلَقِ مِنْ شَرِّ مَا خَلَقَ. We seek protection from the evil that everything has been created, everything that He has created. Now as we mentioned, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the creator of khair and creator of shar. Again, many masnoon du'as where we ask for khair and we seek protection from shar. In Abu Dawood, there's a dua where Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he teaches that when a person gets married, or he buys an animal for means of transport, or in them days there used to be the servants that they used to purchase. So what you should do is that you should place your hand on the forelock, on the forehead of the animal, on the wife, or on this means of transport, and you ask for khair. Allahumma inni as'aluka min khayriha wa khayri ma jubilat alayh, wa a'udhu bika min sharriha wa sharri ma jubilat alayh. So you're asking for the khair from this and protection from the shar. Like this, when we start the day, one of the masnoon du'as in the morning, أصبحنا وأصبح الملك لله رب العالمين اللهم إني أسألك خير هذا اليوم فتحه ونصره ونوره وهدى وبركته وهدى ونعوذ بك من شر هذا اليوم. So again, we're asking for the khair of the day and protection from the shar. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one who creates khair. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one who has also created shar as well. So in this verse here, min sharri ma khalaq, we're seeking protection from general shar. We're seeking protection from general shar, all types of shar. We're seeking protection from that. In the next three verses, we have the ayat number 3, 4, and 5. There has been specific type of shar. One is related to the time of shar. The time of shar in ayat number 3, وَمِن شَرِّ غَاسِقٍ إِذَا وَقَبْ. Now this is from the evil of the dark of the night when it overpowers and it spreads. The word ghasiq can refer to the night, or it can also refer to the darkness of the night. Now why do we seek protection from the night? One answer to this is because generally all types of evil take place in the darkness of the night. All types of evil take place in the darkness of the night. The jinn, the shayateen, insects, harmful animals, thieves, robbery, rape, and etc. All of types of evil generally take place in the night time, in the darkness of the night. Again, related to the theme of the surah, magic also, the magicians also to perform their casts and the spells and their rituals and whatever ruqya they do in their type is all done generally in the darkness of the night. One thing that we learn from here is that the night begins at the time of ghurub. The hadith of Bukhari is that we should avoid children going out at the time of ghurub. Why? Because this is the time where the shayateen and the jinn are now coming out to do their evil. So at the time of ghurub, we should try to protect our children from being outside for no reason. After that, if we need to go, then again, we seek protection. So you got Surah Al-Falaq, Surah Al-Nas, Ayatul Kursi, and other Muslim du'as. You read, you recite for the protection of our children. So generally, we have this habit that you just leave the children playing outside. That shouldn't happen. So at the time of ghurub, at the time of maghrib, especially, we should keep our children safe from the evil and from the shar that's coming outside at that time. So وَمِن شَرِّ غَاسِقٍ. Now this is the physical darkness that we may see, or we may experience. One is the non-physical darkness that also happens, and that is referring to shirk, referring to kufr. So وَمِن شَرِّ غَاسِقٍ إِذَا وَقَبْ. When we seek protection from the evil of the dark night, we're also referring to, we are seeking protection from the kufr and from shirk as well. It's also referring to that we're seeking protection from kufr, we're seeking protection from shirk as well. And if you see nowadays as well, kufr and shirk is promoted everywhere. So our iman is always at risk. Our iman is always being attacked. Remember, Islam, our religion, is the only one that's safe. Kufr and shirk and the other religion are not protected. They will change, and they do change. People, if you look at the Bible and their kutubs that they have, their books that they have, they've been changing over time. And it seems like they're going to bring more changes recently as well in the coming maybe days and weeks and months. And one of the discussion that's happening from the above, the Church of England, about the discussion of replacing the word he, referring to God. So you can understand that the other religions and their faith and their books change over time. They try to compromise, they try to fit into the society and the time of, the thoughts of the time and the ideologies of the time. But Quran and Deen, our Islam, is such that will never ever change, inshallah. We'll never compromise, we'll never change. So it's the sign of being the true religion. 1400 years has gone by, but nothing has changed. So وَمِن شَرِّ غَاسِقٍ إِذَا وَقَبْ. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to protect our children. Okay, that's another discussion that's happening, and Allah protect our children from such thoughts and such attacks on their iman. Ameen. وَمِن شَرِّ النَّفَّاثَاتِ فِي الْعُقَدِ. We seek protection from the evil of the women who blow on the knots. Now again, we could look at the theme of the surah, the magic that was done on Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Labid ibn Asam used his daughters to perform this magic, and he did the knots. Whilst tying the knots, he casted this spell and magic. So وَمِن شَرِّ النَّفَّاثَاتِ فِي الْعُقَدِ. The word النَّفَّاثَات is, one opinion is that is referring to the women who performed, the daughters of Labid ibn Asam, who performed the magic. That's why Naffathat as women has come. So people will say that why only the women have been mentioned in the verse, why not men? Does that mean that the men can perform magic? Does that mean that when men do magic, we don't need to seek protection from that? No. Sahib Ruh al-Ma'ani rahmatullahi alayhi has given the answer that Naffathati here is used because if you look at the theme of the surah, it was done by the daughters of Labid. That's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has used Naffathat referring to that. Another answer is also given is that here we can take out a hidden word, which is sharrin nufusi and nafathati. The word an-nufus has been taken out. And an-nufus, it means souls. So now souls refer to male and the female. So we take protection from all types of those people who blow on knots, male and female. So both of them have been included in there. So that means the male can't perform magic and the female also cannot perform any magic. So وَمِن شَرِّ النَّفَّاثَاتِ فِي الْعُقَدِ, and the last verse, وَمِن شَرِّ حَاسِدٍ إِذَا حَسَدٍ, and we seek protection from the evil of the envier when he envies. Again, this is a long discussion about hasad itself. Hasad, if you go back to the beginning, was the thing and was the main part that made them do magic against the Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. So when a person has hasad, along with him having problems in his health, it will also take him to that level where he will perform magic on the other person. That's what hasad leads to a person. Hasad leads a person to perform, to carry out magic. Now, as you mentioned, hasad, when you have hasad, now what is hasad? The word jealousy doesn't do justice of the word hasad again. The word jealousy, we use it in the place of hasad, but it doesn't do justice. Hasad is related to when somebody has some fortune, some goodness, and we hate that. Why has the other person been granted this fortune and this goodness? So we don't want that person to have that anymore, and we want it to be taken away from that person. So this is known as hasad. And when a person has this sort of jealousy, when a person this has sort of hasad, Allah protect, if he takes the steps towards it, and one of the steps working towards it is through the eye. Through the eye. So if somebody has a fancy car and you have hasad because of that, then you're carrying out evil eye against that person. So this is what hasad leads to at the end. So we're seeking protection from that. So a person himself shouldn't have jealousy, a person himself shouldn't have hasad, and he should also seek protection from that. He should also seek protection from evil eye. So when we have something, anything, so we should always seek protection that I don't carry out this hasad, and hasad is not done against me as well. And hasad itself, as we learned from the ahadith of the Prophet ﷺ, the way the fire burns wood, hasad also takes away our good deeds. It removes our good deeds and it wipes away our good deeds. And hasad does not bring anything except evil, except shirk. It brings disunity. It separates people. There's so much to say about hasad. One of the things that we can take from here is that we make dua when we see somebody with goodness. If somebody has something better than ourselves, we should say, MashaAllah, la quwwata illa billah. And we make dua for that person, for that blessing that he has. That Allah give him whatever you have given him, protect that item or protect that belonging of his. That way, inshallah, we will not cast our evil eye on the person. Now it also goes for our parents, our grandparents as well. When we have a child born within our homes, at times we don't realize that even we become the means of nazar on our children as well. So when we have a child at home, we feel comfort, we feel that peace. We should also make dua for the protection that I don't cast any evil eye on a hasad, because of hasad cast any nazar on our child as well. So these are the few brief understanding of this surah. And what are the lessons that we learn? One of the lessons that we learn is that magic is true. We need to seek protection from that. Make dua, read Surah Al-Falaq, Surah Al-Nas, Ayatul Kursi, and the other adhkar that we have as well. So we seek protection from magic. We don't do magic ourselves. That is a sin itself. That is, will lead a person towards kufr. Because when you do magic, you have to use certain sentences and phrases which are phrases of kufr, seeking help from shayateen and jinns. So that will lead a person towards kufr. So we don't do magic ourselves, and we seek protection from that. Another lesson that we learn from this is that there are things in the world that can harm us. There are physical things that are harming us. There are non-physical things that also harm us. We seek protection from that, again, by reciting Surah Al-Falaq, Surah Al-Nas, and the Adiyah as well. Another lesson that we learn from this is that we try to keep our children safe from any type of evil at the time of ghurub, and make dua for them and recite Surah Al-Falaq, Surah Al-Nas, Ayatul Kursi if they are not able to do so. One of the virtue of reading Surah Al-Falaq and Surah Al-Nas is that Prophet ﷺ, he emphasized to Hazrat Uqba bin Amir radiallahu anhu that we should recite Surah Al-Falaq and Surah Al-Nas before going to sleep. So we recite this before we go to sleep. We recite it in the morning. Prophet ﷺ, we learn that he also recited this to cure himself from this magic that was casted against himself. And after that, it became a habit of him that whenever he used to fall in, he used to recite this and blow over his body. And in the Maradul Wafat, near the end of his life, Hazrat Aisha radiallahu anha, two narrations here, either Prophet ﷺ recited himself and she held the hands of the Prophet ﷺ and passed it over the body, or she recited herself and she passed her hands over the Prophet ﷺ's body. So both are mentioned. So this is also one way of protecting ourselves from the shar and from the evil and the evil that exists in this world. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us the ability to recite these surahs, give us the yaqeen and trust on these surahs. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us the ability to practice upon what has been heard and what has been said. Inshallah, we recite this dua, we recite these verses and the surahs, but at the same time, we need to have our yaqeen in there. Inshallah, through our yaqeen, we will see the benefit. At times, we recite so many things, but because of the weakness of our yaqeen, conviction, then we don't see the effect of it, then we put doubt on ourselves. So we need to bring yaqeen in these surahs and in these verses and the ad'iyah and the adhkar, and inshallah we will see the effect of that as well. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to accept our gathering. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to protect our iman and protect the iman of our children till the day of judgment. Allahumma ameen. Subhanallah wa bihamdihi, subhanakallahumma wa bihamdik. نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك. سبحان ربك رب العزة ما يصفون والسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. جزاكم الله.